بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إذا الشمس كورت وإذا النجوم انكدرت وإذا الجبال سيرت وإذا العشار عطلت وإذا الوحوش حشرت وإذا البحار سجرت وإذا النفوس زوجت وإذا الموءودة سئلت بأي ذنب قتلت وإذا الصحف نشرت وإذا السماء كشطت وإذا الجحيم سعرت وإذا الجنة أزلفت علمت نفس ما أحضرت فلا أقسم بالخنس الجوار الكنس والليل إذا عسعس والصبح إذا تنفس إنه لقول رسول كريم ذي قوة عند ذي العرش مكين مطاع ثم أمين وما صاحبكم بمجنون ولقد رآه بالأفق المبين وما هو على الغيب بضنين وما هو بقول شيطان رجيم فأين تذهبون إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين لمن شاء منكم أن يستقيم وما تشاءون إلا أن يشاء الله رب العالمين.
Hey, what's up, people? What's happening? Let me come to my chat. And can y'all hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Let me get a mic check, please. Let me know if you can hear me. 787. What's happening? Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi barakatuh. Let's Think podcast in the building. Jumu Mubarak. Shalom Shabbat. All right, cool. Y'all can hear me? All right. So what's happening, everybody? What's going on? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah. Rabbil Alameen. Sallallahu ala Muhammad. Sallallahu ala Fatima. Sallallahu ala Khadijah. Sallallahu ala Fatima. Astaghfirullah. Sallallahu ala Ali. Sallallahu ala the Al-Bayt. All right. All right, man. Let's go ahead and have this conversation. Now, today is not a metaphysical conversation that I normally would have. It's a conversation though that represents it's really serious. It's really serious, and it's really for lack of a better word, militant. All right. You know, so the question is asked, you know, is who is the Mahdi? Who is it? Is it a state of consciousness? Is it a historical figure? I'll show why it's popped up in the past as militant. All right, definitely I'll show that and whatnot. So yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. All right. So Imam Mahdi, birth is said to be in 869 Christian era. He will disappear, known as an occultation, in the year 941. That's about what, 72 years. Okay, that makes it almost 1100 years from today. It's like 1080 something years. Okay, And the Shia, the Twelvers, if you don't know who the Twelver Shia is, they are the group of Muslims that say we follow Ali ibn Talib. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon the great lion of Islam. We follow Ali and his descendants from Fatima per the instructions of the Rasulullah. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him. And so they say, but we stop at Iman number 12, which is the Mahdi, which is in hiding for, I don't know, 1,080 something years. So he's in hiding. I'm gonna call it hiding because you're not revealing yourself. Okay. And that's their belief on it. All right. And we'll come back to that. All right. But a little context too, because he's going to come back in the end times with Jesus. Peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, right? And they're going to mollywop evil. That's what they're going to do. Mollywop evil. And there's going to be a false prophet that appears first and all of this type of things. All these signs and stuff that's going to appear. I'm not getting into all of that. I'm just giving you a rough context on one side of the Mahdi. All right. All right. So he comes back at the end of the world to establish peace and justice. Okay. All right. Now here's a quote. If the world as the open majority promotes sin, which are things that I'm having a tongue tie like a mug. All right. Denigrate and deteriorate people and society, then the majority's religion is wrong and the truth resides with the minority. Okay, so I'm going to make it real plain. When the world is overran with evil as the political powers govern the realm of physicality of economics and things of that nature, and we're going to bomb each other, we're going to kill innocent people and things of that nature, and that doesn't get checked by the followers, so-called believers, no matter what system you in, as far as religion goes, and that don't get checked, then the majority, the big school of that religious body is in error. Okay? In error. All right? Now, I love this right here. The newest Pope, Pope Leo, he awarded the Vatican's highest diplomatic honor to Mohammed Hussein, the ambassador of the Islamic Republic of Iran, to the Holy See for promoting basically peace and interfaith dialogue. The problem we have is, and I need to do a piece on this, the separation of church and state. I personally don't think there should be a separation. When you had prophets, I'll prove it, there wasn't no separation of church and state with King David and King Solomon, right? It wasn't. It wasn't no separation of church and state when the Rasulullah was here, who, by the way, writes a constitution called the Constitution of Medina. Very interesting, because I'm going to do a piece on that, talk about this unlettered thing, because we want to say he illiterate. How is the Rasulullah illiterate when on his deathbed he said, bring me a pen and paper? It's called the pen and paper hadith. And Umar, the suspect, doesn't comply and said he's losing his mind, he's crazy. What are you asking for a pen and paper for if you can't write and read? Something ain't adding up. How you create a whole constitution? So we got a misconception of what that word means, right? Anyway, but it was no separation of church and state. There lies the problem right there. Because the moment that the moral authority is removed from society, far as government goes and law goes, you're going to have a moralless society. Why would you even want to be in a society far as this implement government that has no form of morality as the supreme power? It don't even make sense, right? So what's starting to happen, and what we have to really get busy on, the prayer warriors, in a sense, is really, really like it's about time to start going up to some mountains. And when I get on that type of time, it's I can show you some results. It's time to go up to some mountains. Okay. Should I tell you why the mountain? Nah, I'm gonna forget it. All right. Now, I'm gonna bring this back up because I really want the Muslim, particularly the Sunni Muslim and the Shia Muslim, the Arab Muslim. I really want. I'm talking to you. If you get this, and those of us who may have an Arab mindset. Why would Allah, the author of everything, allow for a crane to fall on Masjid Haram, where the Kaaba is, killing 111 people on 9/11, 14 years later from the infamous 9/11? You're going to have to answer that. Why? This is the holy place you go to, and a crane falls down and kills 111 Muslims. I really want to have some spiritual conversation about that. Was all 111 members hypocrites? Did they deserve it because they died? Like, what? How do you process that? And it happened on 9/11. How do you process that? Why would Allah do that to your sacred place? Those are kind of conversations, in the sense, that we need to go deeper into. All right. When we start seeing things like Palestine, we start seeing things like schools, all girl school being bombed, and hundreds of little girls are killed. That creates a problem. Where is your God now? Oh. See, I believe that these type of things create what I call subconscious atheism. And unconscious atheism, because you're not aware that you're really atheist. Hey, nothing wrong with being an atheist. Do you? All I'm saying is, when you don't understand, let's just say cause and effect, but let's say cause, we develop a severe cognitive dissonance with God. Okay? We don't know it until we try it. Okay? So we have a problem. Where's God at now? No. Right? So when you have things like an atomic bomb, which we in the pocket where this has happened now. This happened on the 6th and the 9th. Today's the 7th. 70,000, 80,000 people on one side, and a couple days later, another 40 to 74,000 people dying on those days. Where is the Mahdi in Jesus now? Where they at? You got World War I, World War II. Anywhere from 86 to 105 million people dead. Where is Jesus in the Mahdi now? Like, this ain't good enough? Like, come on, man. We're going to have some real conversation. So you hiding in the cave. And let me preface this. You know I love the Rasulullah and the al-Bayt. But we're going to have to call a spade, man. You telling me somebody in the cave for 1,000+ years and none of this type of stuff, none of this type of calamity is good enough to warrant the return of Jesus and the Mahdi. None of this. It just ain't big enough. It has to get way, 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 way worse than this. Well, if it's going to get way, way worse than this, then why are we crying and praying that it stops for? See, now that is a incoherent pattern, an inconsistency, as my partner and brother would say, in your psychology. Oh, we're going to expose it. We're going to expose it. Because see, when we come to the Bible says that God is no respecter of persons. Whoa. Now you can try to sugarcoat it and say, well, that means he shows no partiality. That means he's partial. That means that he don't care about your status. He's going to judge you for what you really did, and not the fact that you were king and you got all this worldly status. That's baby poop. You know the word I really want to say. See, we're going to have to understand this state. This is one of my favorite scriptures. Jacob wrestles with an angel who was in the form of a man. And Jacob says, I have seen God's face. And he called that place Peniel, for I have seen God's face to face. My life has been preserved. After Jacob wrestled with the angel said, your name will no longer be Jacob, but it will be Israel, because you have struggled with God. You have struggled with God and with humans and have overcome. Stop. You can fight God. You can wrestle God. You can struggle with God. You can beat God. That's what the Bible says. See, we don't want to admit that we struggle to fight with God because you don't want to fight God. Can we have a real conversation? Please, Pastor. Please, Mr. Sheikh. Please, Mr. Imam. How can you say La ilaha illallah? Nothing exists but the reality of God. So that means the moment that some ish pop up in my reality that I don't like, I am in opposition to God. Damn it. Say it. Own it. Live it. So you got to spank God's ass. Can you say that? Well, God don't have an ass, brother. Okay. All right. Sure. He don't. All right. Hold on. Tell my son on. Hold on. Make sure he good. All right. And that's just the truth. That's the truth. See, we're going to have to stop this, man. We're going to have to stop this. When you give credit to the devil, but God allowed the devil to do it. God's the creator of Shaitan. How Shaitan get here? He was created by God. If we come from the Islamic perspective, we come from the Christian perspective, it don't matter. God creates this being. You know good and well in your psyche that don't sit good with you. Because you like, God, you know you ain't have to create this dude. What you do that for? And this dude is whispering and he running amok and people doing all these things. Why you do that? Can I dare take it a step further? Well, that makes you him since you did that. Oh, that's in the scripture, in the Bible. We can pull up some 99 attributes of Allah and see that as well. So the moment that you blame devil, You missed it. That's actually polytheistic when you do that. Because I thought all things belong to Allah. So you can tell in the psychology of a person's understanding what they're saying, man. So when you come back over here to the Bible, and how dare you be a student of Qur'an and not study Bible? It's an impossibility. You can't do that. You can't say, oh, this is the final revelation, and your book don't even give you the stories of Ezekiel. They don't even give you the stories of a lot of things. Elisha is not even mentioned in there. Ruth ain't mentioned in there. Yeah, they don't give you a story of a lot of stuff. So you're going to have to come back down to the foundation. You're going to have to come to the foundation. In the foundation of this thing, you wrestle with God and you get a name promotion. What? You get a whole new, man, you got an attribute for wrestling with God? You thought you saw God face to face in the form of an angel, wrestled this dude, and this dude, if you really understand the story, this dude is like, yo, I gotta get up out of here. The sun is coming up, which he attacked him in the dark. Interesting. Pop Jacob in the hip, bam. All right, man, your name is Israel. I'm up out of here, bro. And now you see a nation of Israel embodying a certain principle. Come on, man. Come on. There's a quote in the Bible, and then I can pull it up. I create good and I create evil. I, God, do all these things. Ain't no devil. It's only la ilaha illallah. The moment you tell me something else, you really don't believe la ilaha illallah. You don't believe that. You don't believe only God exists. The moment that you blame something outside of it, be real with yourself, man. You don't like that aspect of God. Own that. Own it. Because that's what's happening. And the Bible Ben pointed it out right here. Let's keep moving. So in the Quran, as it pertains to Mr. Yaqub, known as Jacob, it says Allah gave him Isaac and Jacob, and each we guided. Guided in green box is Hadi. Hadi is the root word for Mahdi. The word Mahdi, the M doesn't really belong in front of there as a root word. It's just HDI. Okay? Hadi. Interesting. So Jacob gets to wrestle God, get a name promotion, and over in the Quran, Allah informs us that Jacob is being guided. Jacob is being the Hadi, being guided. Interesting. Very freaking interesting. Okay? All right. Now let's come to a hadith. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, the Mahdi will be of my family, of the descendants of Fatima. That's what it said. The Mahdi will be of my family, coming from Fatima. Okay, let's read this one. The Prophet said, if only one day of this world remained, Allah will lengthen that day till he raised up in it a man who belongs to me or to my family, whose father's name is the same as my father's, who will fill the earth with equity and justice as it will be filled with oppression and tyranny. Okay. All right. The world would not pass away before the Arabs are ruled by a man of my family whose name will be the same as mine. Okay. All right. So both of these are what we would call President's hadith that set the stage for the Mahdi to be a real thing. And this is in Sunni hadith. All right. All right. I heard the Prophet saying there will be 12 Muslim rulers who will rule the Islamic world. He then said a sentence which I did not hear. My father said all of them rulers will be from Quraysh. So Whoa. This is what I'm saying between this. Listen, man, I swear I got a bone to pick with Sunnis. I do. Because see, man, how do you read a hadith like this and you believe, if you truly in your heart of hearts believe, that Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, is truly, dig this, the last prophet of God. No more prophets is coming in the world, y'all. The last prophet of God in a what you would call authentic hadith, that this is absolutely what he said. He said there will be 12 leaders of Islam. Well, name the 12 after him then. It's real simple. You want to have this Sunni Shia conversation? I swear for God. I swear for my right hand before Allah. There's only one question to ask, because everything else you start to get sidetracked. Ask one question. Name the 12 leaders, because the Rasulullah said there will be 12 leaders. Name your 12. Name them. And you're going to find something. They ain't going to name them. Because the moment that they have to start naming, when you go past Ali, you're going to run into what we call some very scrupulous, evil individuals. You're going to come across some individual named Marwan, who was after Ali, who fought against Ali. You're going to find his son, Yazid, who is the one that's responsible for beheading Ali's son, Hussein. And you're just going to find some more and more people that you're going to see. Like, whoa, my God, wait a minute. These people were actually killers of the Prophet's family. This is the truth. But then you look in history and you say the Shia said, listen, man, we never accepted Abu Bakr. We never accepted Uthman. We dang sure never accepted Muawiyah, Yazid, and all of them. We stay with Ali's family, and we say the 12th one is Imam Mahdi. This is what we stayed true to. On the surface, looking at Sunni hadith, how can you not have the same sentiment and understanding that the Shia have? Because your enemy has your mind up that bad, that you rather hold on to a title in theology than follow the truth, which is right here. The hadith says it's going to be 12 leaders after me. There's another one that I didn't put here because it's not the topic of the conversation. There will be leaders who have hearts of what? Devils. They will not follow my sunnah. Oh, ya Allah, the messenger. Wait, what should I do if I live in that time? The messenger's response was, you will follow the emir even if your back is flogged and your wealth is taken, meaning you don't follow them devils. Don't follow them men that got hearts of devils. So now we got a list of 12, and it's going to be leaders that got hearts of devil. Run your 12, man. I'm trying to be good mouth today because I'm on fire. Mother F the top 5 rappers. In Islam, you need to name your 12. Name your 12. According to the Rasulullah, name your 12. Because he also said there's going to be some hearts of devils. Let's run it over here on the Shia side and see if we got any hearts of devils. Man, you ain't going to find not one out of those 12. And I mean not one out of those 12 ever even clap back in violence in form of the enemy, who end up doing what? Poisoning and killing them all. They never said, now listen, we about to ride. Not in the 12. It never happened. Never happened. Brings me to tears to see what happened to a certified prophet's family. And all he asked was for you to look out for them and love them. And today we would rather argue on why we would not be Shia and go in that particular school. Man, it's just disheartening. It's disheartening. Good God. Let's keep moving. So you will see, you can go search for yourself, that the Mahdi is talked about from Ali. All of the imams, you see 7 on the screen. We take it here. All of the imams on the Shia side, 1 through 12, the Mahdi is mentioned. Now, I got number 9, Muhammad al-Jawad. Imam al-Taki, also known as I have him as a green highlight, because he said affirm that the promised Qaim, which means the Mahdi, would be from his descendants and would arise after a period of concealment. Let's go over here to my brother Mustafa Briggs' books, Beyond Bilal. In this book, he reads, let me blow it up. Jafar al-Sadiq, Imam number 6, himself, who was considered the 6th Imam in the Shia tradition, married an enslaved Nubian woman named Hamida, who he freed from slavery and taught. She attained such a high level of knowledge that any woman who would come to study with Imam Jafar would be sent to be her student. She bore him a son, Imam Musa al-Kazim, who was the 7th Imam, who also married a Nubian woman and had a son named Ali al-Rida, who's the 8th Imam. He followed his father and grandfather and married an African woman, as did his son, Imam al-Jawad, who's the 9th Imam. By the time we arrived to the 10th Imam, Muhammad al-Taki, slight error, and I need to let him know this, nothing, no shot, it just says what it is. Honest error. Imam Taki is the same as Imam Jawad. They're the same person. So he just made an error right here. This actually is supposed to read Imam al-Hadi, Ali the guide. All right. So where we at here? All right. So by the time we arrive at the 10th Imam, Muhammad Taki, again, is supposed to be al-Hadi. This branch of the Prophet's family is as black as can be, with Muhammad Taki, really, again, I'm going to say this is Ali Hadi, being genetically 94% African, and his son, Hassan al-Askari, which is the 11th Imam, being 97% African. So you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? And I did a presentation on this. Then that means the infamous Mahdi in the 12er Shia tradition, they all started purposely going to Africa to get black women. So therefore, the black woman became the secret holders of Islam. Imagine that. Alhamdulillah, Imam Jafar al-Sadiq. I need to go back and do a video on him alone. Isn't that amazing? You know what? You know what he said? This is what he said in the Shia hadith. Let's read in the yellow. You must not buy anyone from the Sudan, but if you buy, then buy from Nubia. They are of those about whom Allah, most majestic, most glorious, has said, of those who have said, we are helpers. We took a covenant from them. Then they forgot the share of what they were reminded. This is in Qur'an. However, they will remember that share, and they, a group of them, will come out with the rise of al-Qaim, which means the resurrector, with divine authority from us. Then he went in on the Kurds for some reason, said there was a species of jinn. Now, here is the 6th Imam, and this is very important because everyone know when you study the 12ers ideology, in a sense, when you understand their law, their school is known as the Jafarian school. It is Imam Jafar al-Sadiq who's going to teach who the enemies called Sunnis, Imam Malik. Imam Malik lived in Medina with who? Imam Jafar al-Sadiq. He was studying from him. I showed this plenty of times. When we get to the first Sunni school, Hanafi, study with who? Imam Jafar al-Sadiq. Interesting. So this is what I'm saying. Even when you start tracing Sunni fiqh, it comes back to Shia because it comes to Imam Jafar al-Sadiq. He's going to be the one to codify and put the system together for Islamic fiqh, law, jurisprudence. Yes? Well, for some reason, he saw the Qur'an as an instruction to purposely seek out a Nubian woman, because these people are going to be the helpers who's going to have an authority from them. So the Africans is going to have an authority from the divine revelation in the family of the prophet to bring about the Cain, which means he's going to be 90, almost 100% black man, black woman. But they're going to say the woman ain't a resurrector. So they say. Anyway, black man. Yes? All right. Let's keep on moving. So again, Imam Mahdi, they tell us, is in oculation. Again, 941 to 869. That's how many years? 72 years. No, yeah, 72 years. He was 72 years old when he got ghosts. It's been like 1,080 something years today. Like 1,085 years. Okay? Hiding. Now, I showed this diagram before, and you have to pay close attention. Everybody in green got a black wife because it all started with Imam Jafar al-Sadiq. You saw that. Now, at the death of Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, there was a split that happened. On the right-hand side, those are the 12ers. But on the left-hand side, the grandson, Muhammad ibn Ishmael, he disappeared in 765, which is the same year that Jafar al-Sadiq dies. Jafar al-Sadiq had a older son named Ishmael who died about 10 years prior to him, which I'm going to say it. And it's been a report that, he actually didn't die. Somebody seen him in another town. They got ghosts. Do you understand? See, we don't understand it. And this is why I pick a bone with a Sunni. We don't understand that everybody on the right-hand side, and we can put the left-hand side with Hassan, was murdered by people of the Muslim community. The family of the Prophet was murdered by Muslims. Not believers, Muslims, because there's a difference. So if this keeps happening, at what point, and this is my question, at what point do you develop the logic? They killed my daddy. They killed my granddaddy. They killed my great-great-granddaddy. They killed my great-great-great-great-granddaddy. They killed my great-great-great-great-great-uncle. They killed the prophet, in a sense. He was poison, right? At what point do you start to develop a get low, get up out of here, get low? So this side of the family, the Ishmaelis, they got low for 144 years. Hold on, let me get my son the code. They got low for 144 years. And when they pop up, ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention to this. A gentleman in red in the box on the left, Ubayd Allah al-Mahdi, he pops up with the title Mahdi. He's born in 873, but the Mahdi on the left is born in 868. What? Look, you see how close that is? What's that, 5 years? Ubayd Allah al-Mahdi supposed to die in 934. 7 years later, the Mahdi is going to disappear on the right-hand side, so they say. Interesting enough, Ubayd Allah al-Mahdi is going to be the one who creates the Fatimid dynasty and pops up as Mahdi, the only Shia caliphate to get into power and control all of this region, Northwest Africa, known as the Maghreb, the Hijaz, right? And names a city after the Mahdi, Mahdiyya. But so this is what I'm saying. This blows my mind. So he does all of this, but The 12ers don't accept him as Mahdi. He's not a Mahdi. Ain't that something? No Mahdi. How was that even possible? How is that possible? Hold on 1 second, y'all. What's up, bro? You good? Yeah. You straight? I think the key's in the door if you're going to take the truck. I ain't going nowhere. Oh, I did it yesterday. It's all good back there. I got it. Yeah. So he comes and he creates a city. He creates a whole caliphate. They running things, and he say he the Mahdi. Like y'all, the family of the prophet never, ever ran politics. They finally run it after being ghosts for 144 years, do all this, and he's not the Mahdi. Same timeline, and he's not the Mahdi though. Ain't that something? Interesting. Bookmark that. That's one Mahdi that you see. Let's go. From this lineage, to this day, you get something known as the Aga Khan. Because remember, it was a split over there from the Fatimid side. To this day, right now, they have an estimated net worth of $13 to $15 billion as pretty much a nonprofit organization. They believe in a living imam. They don't believe in the Mahdi as a savior coming back to save you. They believe that at all times there is a living imam amongst the people. And their lineage kept on going. The title got changed from Imam to Aga Khan. They exist right now to this day, known as the Ismailis. Another cool fact that comes from them is the infamous game known as the Assassins. That comes from this group of Ismailis. All right, the Nizari Ismaili Brotherhood. Okay, who end up getting defeated by the Mongols, the Genghis Khans and Aga Khans and all them. Okay, but this is where they come from. All right. Now let's move into this historical figure by the name of Mirza Ghulam. He is the founder of the Ahmadiyya Muslim of Islam that you see. You see the masjid is being built. It's a big one right now on Broad Street here in Philly, right? So you get the promised Messiah foretold in Islamic tradition. He said that he was the Mahdi. Now, they had a prominent teacher comes from that particular ideology. Muhammad Ali at the first. He actually wrote a Qur'an. You will see he was the leader of the Lahore Ahmadiyya movement. He said that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was the promised Messiah and Mahdi. He would write a Quran. This is what his Quran looks like. And lo and behold, this is the Quran right here on the Final Call website. And I know, as a member of the Nation of Islam, this is the Quran that we read right here. All English, no Arabic. The Maulana Muhammad Ali Quran, the interpretation from them. What I didn't put here is he also had millions of followers, and he called himself Mahdi. So now enters the Nation of Islam, since we have taken on that Quran. And I did a presentation on this called the Nation of Islam Shia Connection. Because in the magical lessons, you have something called supreme wisdom. Yes. The original God, tribe, nation of Shabazz. I showed you before the word Shabazz is a Persian word, which means falcon. Persia is modern day Iran. Iran is Shia. Moving on, though, we read this highlight. According to the source, Master Fard Muhammad said, "My name is Mahdi. I am God." Master Fard Muhammad said he come from where? The holy city of Mecca. Yes, that's what he said. Inside of the teachings of the Nation of Islam, you're taught that there are 24 scientists who control the destiny and write future in advance for the next 50,000 years. There are 12 major scientists and 12 minor scientists. All right. So you got 12 major, 12 minor. Well, remember, we saw a hadith that the Prophet said there will be 12 Muslim rulers. You see? So some of the tenets in the Nation of Islam is Shia, not Sunni. Okay? All right. The whole concept of a Mahdi, whole concept of the circle of 12, whether they 12 major, 12 minor. Again, the name Shabazz, Persian, Iran, Shia. Yes? All right. So yet you will have the Nation of Islam. One of the most successful things that the nation has done is the 1995 Million Man March. Millions upon millions are out, which really at the inception of this is Master Fard Muhammad, who said he was the Mahdi. And guess what? That's not good enough for, I guess, the world consensus. It's not good enough for the Shia, in a sense. Ain't that something? Think about that, though. Your own history says from the 6th Iman, y'all was marrying African women. Your own certified scholar and big homie, Jafar al-Sadiq, again, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, because that's my guy. He starts this. He writes the system of law. He's the one that's starting this thing, going to Africa and get a black woman. Then all of the generations after him followed, and specifically told us that the people of Nubia is going to assist in the resurrection of the Mahdi, or bringing out the Mahdi, right? But here it is, a man came to North America, raised up these black people by the millions, said he was the Mahdi, and there is no acceptance of the Mahdi. I should have put it here, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to do a piece on this. You're under the curse of Hussein. And I ain't talking about Hussein ibn Ali, ibn Talib. I'm not talking about, no. I'm talking about Barack Hussein. I'm talking about Saddam Hussein. I'm talking about how the name Hussein comes in and persecutes you. You ain't figured it out yet on why that's happening. Inshallah, I can bring some clarity to that towards the end, because there's a slide that talks about you being cursed. Okay. All right. Not specifically the Shia being cursed, but you being cursed when you got the truth. All right. Let's move on to another figure in history, ladies and gentlemen. Move over to Mr. Muhammad Ahmad ibn Abd Allah ibn Fahal. Was a Sudanese religious and political leader. In 1881, he claimed to be the Mahdi and led a war against Egyptian rule in Sudan, which culminated in a remarkable victory over them in the siege of Khartoum. He created a vast Islamic state extending from the Red Sea to Central Africa, and founded a movement that remained influential in Sudan a century later. From his announcement of the Mahdiyya state, look at that, he formed a Mahdiyya state. Yes, in June 1881 till its end in 1899, which is about what, y'all, 17 years, 18 years, right? All right, let's move on. In his troubled atmosphere, Muhammad Ahmad ibn as-Sayyid Abd Allah, who combined personal charisma with religious and political mission, emerged determined to expel the Turks and restore Islam to its original purity. The son of a Dangala boat builder, Muhammad Ahmad had become the disciple of Muhammad Ash-Sharif, the head of the Samaniya Sufi order. Oh, really? Really? So now we have a black Sudanese African who fought against colonial colonialism coming in through Egypt, and then the Egyptians agreeing to come in and colonize the Sudan. He calls himself the Mahdi, and he's a Sufi. See, don't think that the Sufis is just roomy and writing poetry and stuck on love. That ain't no. That's not true. That is not true. You got some Sufis who was bout it. All right. Who said that was their great grandfather? Mr. Dr. Malachi the White York, also known as Imam Isa, al-Hadi, al-Mahdi. He said that Muhammad Ahmed, who was the Mahdi of the Sudan, was his great grandfather. So Doc, as we call him, Doc took the title Mahdi. Yes? Not only did he take the title Mahdi, come on, he built pyramids right here in the Confederate South of Eatonton, Georgia. That's what he did. Lincoln African spirituality. And I must say, I'm not talking about, I don't know the do's and don'ts of a man. You want to talk about written works, though? Profound teacher. I can honestly say that's a master teacher. Anybody can go into this and then start spitting this language and then go into this. You went from Arabic to Hebrew to Native American to Nuwapian to creating your own language. When you look at the mind that was working through there, I said, oh boy, that's different. I'm just talking about the mind. I don't care about nothing else. Because I know you want to say, oh, whatever. I don't know. Moving on. The world didn't see him as Mahdi. But here's a hadith. I heard Abdul Rahman bin Abdullah bin Masood narrating from his father, who said, I heard the messenger of Allah saying, may Allah gladden the man who hears something from us, so he conveys it as he heard it. Listen up closely. Perhaps the one it is conveyed to is more understanding than the one who heard it. Ladies and gentlemen, the question today is the Mahdi a state of consciousness, or is it a historical figure that is in hiding for almost 1100 years? That's the question today. The Rasulullah comes with a hadith and say, hey, listen, man, listen, great joy to the person who come and learn from us. But we want you to go share that wisdom, because perhaps that person who you tell it to, they're going to understand it better than you who I told it to. Oh, the first time I ever seen this was right here in the farewell sermon. This sermon needs to be studied, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of the ones. This is one of the first ones that opened me up, because he ratted out the calendar. He ratted out this shirk calendar that they own. All those who listen to me shall pass on my words to others, and those to others again. And may the last ones understand my words better than the ones who listen to me directly. Whoa. So now when we get the definition of Salafi, the Salafi say, hey, we pride ourselves after the first 3 generations of the Rasulullah. They were the most pious because they were there, man. They was there, and they wasn't there. They was directly, they are the descendants of those who were there. So we learn from them. I get it in theory, but the Rasulullah via hadith and now this farewell sermon says, hey, you who hear it last is actually going to understand it better than the ones who I told it to. So why do I want to be like them? They don't. So you know what that means? They don't understand what he said. So you know what that also means? He must have been talking some of that conversation, if not most of that conversation, if not all of that conversation, but I'll say some of the conversation. Some of that conversation has a deeper meaning. See, if he tell you wash your hands, maybe that's literal, wash your hands. Now, you may expound on that later and say, well, I wash my hands because of germs. Okay, cool. So you don't get sick. Some things I'm quite sure is going to be literal. Some things going to be over your head, but it's going to be said in a way that's just going to be, it's going to be, it's going to be perceived one way, but it's going to be meaningful. The true meaning won't get extracted until later. It's the whole point. It's the whole point. It's the whole point. So is the Mahdi a state of consciousness? That's the question. Is it a state of consciousness, ladies and gentlemen? Because every time we've seen them come, even the ones who didn't take up arms, we saw movement. We saw religious success, and we saw political battles that, warfare battles that you may have won and eventually lost. Yes, we saw some type of victory when you take on the name Mahdi. We saw that. So now let's kind of backtrack a little bit because you got to understand something. How did Imam Hassan Askari get the name Askari? Askari means the one from the military camp. All right, I'll see you later. All right, Askari means the one from the military camp. Why? The Abbasids kept him and his father under close surveillance at a military camp. You get what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. The prophet's family is being persecuted. This is beyond harassment. They're being killed, man. Like literally, they're going to be killed. Now, one leader may give them some grace. I'm gonna keep them under house arrest, but another one to come in and be like, no, I'm not doing it, making a mistake that my predecessor did. I'm killing him. And we don't want it to be a rebellion, so we're going to poison him. Therefore, it just looks fishy. We don't know how he died. We don't know. We ain't kill him. We ain't bloody murder kill him. We ain't do what they did to Hussein. We ain't cut his head off. We ain't whip him to death. We ain't do none of that. Slipped in that poison, though. So Imam Askari gets the name because he was always kept in confinement. You see this, SHIT? You see this? So this is how real this gets. The real truth of Islam, I'm telling you, we ain't seen it. We have not seen it. We haven't seen it. We haven't. We haven't seen it. Not after the Rasulullah, we haven't seen it. We ain't seen it. We ain't seen it. This is what Imam Jafar al-Sadiq saying, and this is aimed at the Shia. The people see him talking about the Mahdi, but they don't recognize him. Ain't that something? Number 2, doing Hajj. The Imam will be absent from the people. He attends the Hajj session, sees the people, but they do not see him. The Shia scholars say they do not see him means they do not recognize him. So even the infamous Imam Jafar al-Sadiq, the GOAT, who created Islamic fiqh, taught your so-called Sunni scholars. He is saying when the Mahdi appears, the people won't even recognize him. This is sad. This is, man, I just want to have a curse session. This is sad. So that means the Shia, you wouldn't even really understand what it is anyway. You don't understand it in its totality, what the Mahdi is or who the Mahdi is. Let's talk about it. Here's a name that was later adopted for the Mahdi. Sayyid al-Asr, time, Wa al-Zaman, the master of the age and time. Now, I can go into a science on this. This here, I can go into a science on this, but I'm not. Not today. Not today. But the Mahdi is known, a title that was given to him, the master of the age and time. Whoa. An age is approximately 2,160 years. That's an age. If your argument is, well, it's only been half of that the Imam has been missing. Okay, that's the argument. My point is, really, the Imam of the time is now. And again, this is why the Ismailis split. One of the reasons in their ideology, they said, no, we don't believe in that. The Imam is always living. God never leaves a people without a spiritual pole. And this is taught in Sufism. And by the way, Sufis only say that they Sunni is because they follow a certain form of Islamic law. They say, oh, we follow Malachi, so we Sunni. Y'all ain't no damn Sunni. Because the founder who you say is Sunni came from the Shia. And you need to know that. You need to know that. Because see, we don't know that, you haven't deepened your love for the Rasulullah. I got a problem with that. I really do. Moving on. Who am I to have a problem, right? Let's look into the word Hadi, which is the root for Mahdi. It appears 316 times in Quran. I do find it funny as a fun fact. It's mentioned 144 times, and it was 144 years that the Fatimid dynasty, or what we later become known as the Ismailis, they got low for 144 years before they came back on the scene and created the Fatimid Caliphate. And when he did it, what did he say his name was, ladies and gentlemen? He said his name was al-Mahdi. And what city did he form, ladies and gentlemen, in Tunisia, modern day Tunisia right now in Africa? Mahdiyya. Okay? So the root word as a verb, which means action. Not a noun, a verb, action, appears 144 times, 316 times total as a root. Bookmark it. When we look at the abjad value of Hadi, it equals the infamous 19. In the Quran, over it is 19. Yes? Okay. Now, here go a list of the visors of 316. 1, 2, 4, 79, 158, 316. And then you compare these 6 turns into 3. 1 times 316 equals 316. 2 times 158, and then 4 times 79. Now, I want to look at 79, 19, because we saw that what? 19 is the numerical abjad value for Hadi. Yes. So I want to look at 79, 19 and see what's going on there. What is source 79? Source 79 in English is by those who pull out forcefully. Talking about the angels yanking out the soul. In fact, when we go, look at the word means removal from office. Doesn't mean death, but removal from office. Oh, really? Move on. Let's come here. Source 79 says, what? By those, they say the angels who extract with violence. Yusuf Ali said, by the angels who tear out the souls of the wicked with violence. But it also means a removal of office. What is my point? My point is the Quran absolutely is a playbook to show you how to see. In other words, when you start embodying the Quran, people become revolutionary. Malcolm X, you just saw it. You saw some of them become revolutionary when you start embodying the Quran. Okay? Let's go read that verse 79, 19 to see what it was talking about, since the word Hadi came up there. And let me guide you, Moses talking to Pharaoh, Let me guide you to your Lord so you will fear him, in that I guide thee to thy Lord. Okay, we want to get into a tasfir explanation of this. The life of Pharaoh and other deniers of the truth, like him, provides proof of the fact that one who denies realities is ultimately punished for it. These historical examples are enough to teach man a lesson, but an instructive event is such only to one who has a prudent mentality and who examines an action from the viewpoint of its end result and not just in relation to its beginning. You can read more on the tasfir on that. Okay. All right. Introduce a gentleman just to prove my point about understanding Qur'an. Here is a Sufi from the Tajani Sufi order by the name of al-Hajj Umar Tall, given the French that work, created his own kingdom known as the Tukulor Empire. We don't get taught this in history, ladies and gentlemen. He resisted the French expansion and fought against them. Look into him. Umar Tall. Okay? Sufi. All right? Moving on. Now here it is right here about the curse. Indeed, those who conceal what we sent down of clear proofs and guidance after we made it clear for the people in the scripture, those are cursed by Allah and cursed by those who curse. In other words, Allah gonna team up with the people that's throwing the evil eye and cursing you. So Allah gonna curse you and then join the people who cursing you so you can get a double hex, because you're concealing the truth of what has come down of this book. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you something. 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 How can I say this? Maybe ignorance is bliss. Maybe. Maybe. We're going to use Malcolm X. Ignorant wasn't bliss in that sense. Islam compelled him to speak up and to move. Nation of Islam, even the followers, you will be compelled into some form of action. Now, that action obviously can be clean up your life. Don't smoke. Don't do drugs. Don't rob. Don't kill. Don't do this, right? Okay, then you start learning some other things. How to manage money better. Don't take out, interest-bearing loans, because that's really shirk. That's haram. That's not good. It's usury. Excuse me. You start learning how to guide your life, and maybe your circumference is you yourself. I self-law and master, as we say, that's Islam. I self-law and master. I master myself first. Then maybe it's your household, if that. Maybe it's your community, if that. Maybe it's local. Maybe it goes further and it's state and national. Maybe it's global. Only you can decide. But it's going to compel you. The truth compels you into action. Okay? I gotta say that. I'm just saying the Quran makes it clear. Hey, you get this truth and you conceal it, curse be upon you. The Rasulullah said, what? Hey, glad tidings to those who get this information. Share this information, because perhaps who you tell it to, they're going to understand it better than you who I told it to. You saw that. All right. So what I do here is the golden heart. I'll show you a testimonial, man. This touched me. I love these kind of testimonials. I love them all, but this where I'm at today. These are a little bit more endearing to me. This comes via email. Thank you so much, Noble. These reports have been helping me navigate and get a better handle on life. Even helps with my ADHD as I do better with structure, routine, and planning. I am so grateful I found you and definitely plan on being more active within the classes and my community presence, just getting myself organized and on a routine. I appreciate you so much. and you're a light to this world. Looking forward to meet you in person in the near future. Happy Friday, and thank you again for all that you do and get me back on track in life. I really felt so lost and depressed before we connected, and now I feel myself coming back to life, building the life I desire. Have an amazing day. That's what's meaningful to me inside of what I call the golden heart, right? That's important. And she's not even in my Sunday class. She gets a report from me every single month that I send her. I send her. Some people, and I'm not saying about this person, but some people are academic and they can handle me on Sunday. Some people are a little bit more intuitive and more right-brained in a sense, and there's just something I just need to give them. They really can't sit next to me because they fry their brain in a sense. They can't keep up with me in this. And I'm not saying that because I'm way up. I'm just saying you have to understand temperaments. See, when you understand the four elements of the four primal elements of fire, air, earth, water, and it's many more, of course, but you understand that base four ingredient, which is really father, son, daughter, and mother, right? When you really understand this base four, these types equate to personality types. The airy nature is intellect. You can go all day. The fiery nature best interacts with that because it's energetic. The earth element is a little bit more slowed down. Not that earth don't get it, but it's more practical in its steps and it's earthbound. And the water element is more intuitively bound. Not that they can't never cross, because I believe in being balanced within all four. But sometimes we may be way more, let's just say, earthy in a sense. Whereas this esoteric information, you don't get the concept of it, and therefore it becomes too challenging for you. But the truth of the matter is, the only thing you really should be doing is a certain practice. You can do a practice at 3 o'clock in the morning if you can discipline yourself, so you can further strengthen that particular, let's just call it that strength, internal strength that you have, because you're more on this side of the nature. You're more watery in your nature. You understand what I'm saying? And so you have to be able to understand your own temperament and whatnot is key. All right. All right. Any questions? I'll drop a link in the chat. If you got a question, hit it or put it in the chat. All right. Boom. Put that there. And join me, man. I would love to, love to kick it with you. I love the fall time that we coming into. I can't wait till next month, fall equinox time. Energy shift, it gets real. Back to school, you know what I mean? And it's kind of like the culture in America, at least, gets in this learning mode in a sense, right? And so I really love it and whatnot. The light starts to decrease. That part I'm not a fan of. Days get lighter in a sense, far as it gets darker technically. But nevertheless, it's a great teaching portal. In fact, we about to bring out something starting the last Friday in September, where we do poetry night. Bring your own poem, or if you're inspired by somebody else's poem, come and share. You know what I mean? So we gonna have online little poetry night going, and just lovers of God, lovers of friends of God. That's the key. You know what I mean? So that's gonna be kicking off in the Patreon every fourth Friday of the month for the fall season, and see how it go. We may extend it into the winter, but I usually do some type of curriculum based learning in the fall and winter to get us through the dark months until we get to the spring. Okay. All right. Man, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Let's Think Podcast. Check him out on YouTube, y'all. Let's Think Podcast. I'm quite sure y'all already know the legend and whatnot. But yeah, if you got any questions, y'all can hit that link. Put it in the chat. You know what I mean? Yeah, let me know. But yeah, join me on the Patreon. Greenhouse is finally complete. Inshallah, I'll get out there and make a video today. Done. Finally. My God. 144. My God, why have you thou forsaken me? We finished the porcelain. Is it porcelain? I don't think it's porcelain. Is it one of them? Maybe it is porcelain, because one of them you can't have outside because it's porous. So I think it's porcelain. But we just finished this Moroccan style floor inside the greenhouse is completely done. I have nothing else to do in there because I need to bring in plants. Things of that nature. As far as construction goes, that's done. So that's finito. You know what I mean? So I'm good with that. You know what I mean? So I can't wait to show you the updates on that. Can't wait till my son come back. He was just here. I'm gonna hook him up to this technology on this TV right here, and I'm gonna introduce and show you guys this this phenomenal spiritual technology. You know what I'm saying? Let's Think Podcast. What it do?
Man,
What's up,
787, man.
man? What's
You
going
already
on?
know. You already know, man. Islam, assalamu alaikum.
What's on? What's on?
How, how the brother?
Man, I am good, beloved. How are you?
Man, I'm great, bro. I see you in here. I see you putting the work in, man. Great work, first and
Yeah,
foremost. Great
appreciate you.
work.
Appreciate you.
Great work, man. You know, I don't like, when you teach, brother, I don't have too much to say. But I just enjoy the show. I just want to tap in with you and let you know we here, man. We supporting you, and man, keep up the good work, and you know, and peace to the chat. Peace to
Yes,
the
sir,
chat.
man. Peace to you, man. Appreciate you,
I just
man. Appreciate you.
one question. One
Yeah.
question.
Shoot it.
In the overall scheme,
Uh-huh.
in the overall narrative of Islam, how important is the aloe bait? Because I mean, you always speak on it, but see, what happens is ones divert the conversation. You know how
Yeah.
people they got the art of distraction. You know,
Hmm.
send it this way and then send it that way. But in a nutshell, if you could put it in one sentence, how would you
Yeah.
put it?
How important it is to love the Al Bayt, the family of the Prophet. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So on our new site that we getting built, and shout out to B, I just seen him come in the chat. It's gonna be called Golden Heart Dawa. That's really at the top of just one of the top things on the website, which is a hadith. My favorite hadith for sure. I think it's the first one I ever committed to memory. Love me love Allah for the sake of his blessings that he nourishes you with. Love me due to the love of Allah, and love the people of my house, the Al Bayt, due to the love of me. That's what he said. Now, if you come across it, this is why I say ignorance can be bliss. If I never heard this hadith and I'm in love with the Prophet from afar, I'm genuinely in love with him from afar. I don't know this hadith to know to anything about his family and equating my love for him to his family. I don't know this. That's why with truth is a responsibility. You see what I'm saying? And so once you see this hadith, I would think you would be compelled to love his family because now the love for his family is the barometer in which you really love him.
Mm,
You
mm,
see? But
absolutely.
again, this is only applicable if you were presented with this hadith. You see what I'm saying? So for me, it becomes once I accept it, it's like, oh snap. The best way that I can ever show my love for him is how I love his family, right? So as I showed before, right? When we come into the world, right? Let me turn this screen off on the back so we can kind of see. Now, can I pull this up? It's gonna green screen. Hold on for a second because this is important. All right. Where's it at? Settings. Let me take the visual effect off for a quick second. Right. Let me just come here. There we go. All right.
Mm,
So when we come into Islam, for some reason we feel like, and I get it. We come to Bukhari first. The Sunnis come to the Hadith and say this is the most authentic chain of Hadiths, and I respect that because if you saying, hey, listen, this is the rigorous process that weeded out all of the the weak or made up sayings that the Rasulullah said. This is
mm,
actually authentic of what he said. We study this because we got to know what he said. I get it. What I'm going to clap back with is this though. Hold on. Just as much as we got this, then why don't we have the Naj Bagala when we deal with the writings and sayings and the letters and sermons of Ali?
he's a Naji
Ali
Balak.
lived. Ali lived with the Prophet. Ali said, the prophet said, hey, man, listen, man, I'm a city of knowledge, and Ali is the gate. I can go on and we can go on and on and on with how Ali was praised, but he got letters and sermons. But Ali is going to have a son who we know is Hussein, the one who gets his head cut off. Hussein has a son, which is Ali's grandson, which is the prophet's first great grand. I'm going to say first in order of birth, but it's going to be his great grandson. The prophet's grandson is Hussein. Hussein's son is Imam al-Sajud, known as Ali ibn Hussein, Ali son of Hussein. So my point is, here you have the great grandson of the prophet, and he has a whole work that he did known as the Psalms of Islam. He was always praying, hence the name Imam Sajud. He was always in the prostrating position over 100 times a day. All he did was that. So his book is like the Psalms of David. This is the prophet's grandson's son. The prophet's grandson's son. Why don't we study this? Why don't we know what they wrote on that side of the ledger? The family. If we get to Imam al-Rida, the 8th Imam, right? Imam al-Rida got something known as the Golden Treatise on medicine and healing. And the caliph of that time had it written in gold ink on how to heal the body. This is coming from the family of the Rasulullah directly. So as I always say, if these guys live with their fathers into their 30s, their 20s and their 30s, before they became the imam themselves, you know how much knowledge that is? You sitting firsthand getting this, like you live with your daddy for 30 something years, seen him pray, like, whoa, the conversations y'all having, whoa, that's a lot of knowledge that's there. Why don't we get taught that as evenly as we get taught Bukhari? You see what I'm saying? And so that's heavy, because you to that hadith of, again, love my family or love the people of my house due to the love of me. So the way I read that is, okay, and if I don't, now what? Well, you don't love me then, right? That has to be the other side to that. If I read that and I say, I'm not going to love the people of your house due to the love of you, I'm just going to love you in Islam, I'm not going to love the people of your house, then that means I don't love you. You a prophet. If I believe you a prophet, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to question that. Right? So you said for me to show my love due to the love of you, love them, then I have to conclude I cannot love you without loving them. That's how heavy that is for me. You know?
Makes sense. Makes sense. And what that did was alleviate, you already answered my next question as well. So, hey man, listen, man, keep doing what you're doing. And yes sir, I'm gonna stay tuned in. You stay tuned in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you, beloved.
All right, peace.
All right, peace. Islam. Yep. So, but yeah, we don't have anything in the chat. Y'all good in the chat? We good? But yeah, again, you know what I mean? Listen, man, I take it for real. I'm sorry. I remember a good friend of mine. She says, "You a religious zealot. You religious. Yeah, ain't dogmatic though. Religion it's not the religion, man. It's not the religion. It's the teachers of the religion. It's not the religion. It's not the book. It's how the information is disseminated. That's the problem. The problem ain't with the book. The problem ain't the gun. The problem is the user. Now, if I can't get you to change your mindset, then I'll just get rid of the gun. Because I see you ain't gonna come to your own conclusion that you shouldn't stop, shooting and dropping bombs on people. So therefore, we're gonna get rid of all of this. And you don't even have the option now. How about that? Because when I leave it up to your own free will and accord, you don't adjust. You see what I'm saying? So anyway, it's a beautiful study, and it literally can take you to there. I've shown y'all before. I've shown y'all the many parallels in Quran, how it talks in code and connects to another piece. When it comes to the aspect of instituting righteousness, there's a code in Quran. And that's why a lot of people, when they spiritual leaders come into it, they start embodying it in the realm of politics, in a sense, implementing Sharia law, creating an empire, things of that nature. You understand what I'm saying? So it becomes a verb. It becomes something that we absolutely have to put in. Got to put it in action, right? All right, man. I'm still getting this office together back here. I can't stand that backdrop. Gotta go. And I gotta do something about it. I ain't figured out what piece of wall art. Because remember at my old place, I used to have this behind me, one of my favorite masjids and whatnot. But yeah, I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do yet back there and whatnot. So I'm still working, man. I'm still working. B said all the updates on the site will be done today. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? I can't find my notes, B, from Sunday's class, man. How we got the cancer. I don't know. I have no idea where that revelation came from. I remember showing it, but I don't know what it was, man. If you know, text me. Tiara on it too. She gonna send me a text and whatnot. But I'm like, how the heck we get there and whatnot? All right. But yeah, man, join the Patreon if you can. Cash App is the Golden Heart Love Center CTR. I will be doing an updated video today, provided the weather's supposed to rain later. But if it's sunny, I wanna shoot it on a sunny day. But the greenhouse is done. Excuse me, but you will absolutely be seeing the video coming very soon. It's gonna be on the next sunny day. Then I gotta cut the grass. If it's gonna rain, then I'm gonna have to cut the grass again, right? So, but it's coming, and we supposed to have a real rainy period coming up. In fact, just so you know, I ain't fibbing to you for real, for real. Let me see where we at on the weather, even though I don't know what they be talking about. Our next sunny day with no clouds is Sunday. Okay. So I may shoot it Sunday for sure. I'm gonna have to cut the grass again, but that's cool. I'll shoot it Sunday and give you guys a inside look of us being up and rolling at the Golden Heart Love Center, which is a private residence that we have that deals with energetic modalities of maintenance slash, you can call it healing, but you know, energetic maintenance is the key. And just the things you've seen the back, but I haven't showed you the new remodel office that we built down here, so we can hook up to this technology and really use technology the way it should be used, in ways that we can measure our internal well-being and maintain and optimize our internal well-being. Okay. I see a question. Peace, brother. Imam Isa, aka Malachi York, said explicitly he was the reformer of our nation. Yeah, you know, beautiful master teacher. Beautiful master teacher. You know, I would love to know, if it's true, why did he take the plea? Yeah, that's all I want to know. And I think this is what I be thinking. I think that Trump is compromised, right? I'm not the only one that thinks that. What the heck did I do? Hey, what I do? Hold on, y'all. I do something. I did something crazy. All right, yeah. So I think Trump is compromised, right? This is not the same Trump is clear that we seen in the first election, right? And I think this is just my opinion. I think that the enemy use family members, friends as targets, because for the life of me, I can't understand this switch that I'm seeing. And so I think when you're under a pressure, when I tell you, if I start naming your children's friends, parents, and friends, parents, and grandchildren, and letting you know that this reach go far as a threat, I don't think that you're gonna gamble innocent people's lives that are dear to your family members. So therefore, you're gonna acquiesce and bow down and do what somebody tell you to do. It's just an old mob tactic. Somebody ain't playing fair in the realm of trying to control things over here, and it's very clear, very clear. So in the thing with Doc is, why did you take that plea? Who was being threatened? You know what I mean? Like, what's your mindset? Because that says that you said you understood and you did it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into that. I'm just saying my mind naturally wants to know that in that sense. You know what I'm saying? Because that's, now it's a hard pill to swallow, if it can be swallowed at all. How you gonna reform when you signed that and said you did that, and now you see what I'm saying? Like, nah, if it was some type of, what was the level of threat, so we can understand it from that perspective. And that's all I'm saying. You understand what I'm saying? And so, and this is why, listen, man. Like Tony Yayo said, I watch hip hop stuff. I don't be posting my kids, and then we had street beef. You understand what I'm saying? Like Tony Yayo from G Unit, like you posting your kids and your parents and your mama and your girlfriend, your wife, and all that. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man. It's people, people may try to touch somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah. You know what I'm saying? So you got to move a certain way. You know what I mean? Everything ain't for the public in a sense, because it just ain't. We see it in movies all the time. Who's being held for ransom? What's going to make the dude come home? The kids and that woman then got kidnapped. They at gunpoint. They at ransom. Got you. Every single time. So family to a man is really the Achilles heel. It's the prize, but what you do with a prize? You try to safeguard it. And when you don't have the right measures at hand, boy, you done. You vulnerable. Right? All right. All right, man. So we're gonna get up out of here. Appreciate y'all, man. If you can, hit that Cash App for me. And whatever you do, 100% of the proceeds goes to this place and getting this place up and going off the ground. That's done. We rolling, man. We doing pretty good. It take a while, you know what I mean? But it's coming. Everybody, the neighbors. I had a neighbor call the township on me, talking about they play the music and he don't be outside. And you know what I be playing? Wallahi, I'll play it right now for you. I swear to God, I'm gonna play it real. That's how petty people are, right? Hold on, I'm gonna show something real quick. I'm gonna show y'all what I be playing. Blow your mind. Let me share my screen real quick. This let me remove this so I can share my screen. I said, because I put a little speaker outside, right? Can I do boom right here, right? So I'll play this right here. It's live, right? It's gonna be a commercial, but let me see.
Huge selection of trays, heavy duty.
That's what I be playing. I swear to you, I don't play nothing outside in my garden but birds chirping and the piano instrumental under it. So my immediate neighbor, she like, I love it. You got me listening to instrumentals now while I'm at work. I love peeking over your gate and looking at the garden. She called it the secret garden, peeking at the secret garden. And, it's a vibe. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, are you serious? Somebody called and said I had the speaker going and whatnot over some bird music. But it's beautiful, man. I got a hummingbird that comes, and my goal is to get the right nectar to put in my hand somehow. and to get the hummingbird to come eat out my hand, because he really don't move when I'm out there and kind of close to him. So I got to figure that piece out. But a beautiful place, man. So help me out if you can. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate you being here. The best thing you can do, though, please click the like button. For some reason, that's what YouTube's like. It likes that. So if everybody can take the time out to watch this video, you watch it, please click the like button. That helps out a lot. Okay. You never know, like the testimonial that came in earlier that I showed, right? Like, you hitting that like button may help me get to someone else, and that someone else is touched and have positive things going in their life because they heard something or connected with me. All right. So please click the like button. All right. All right. We're going to get out of here. We're going to end with Adiyat. If you really understood this, I just should say this. You should study this. Okay. But you're not going to get it without learning the Arabic key. All right. One of my favorite verses in the Quran. Very beautiful. And hit me up and I'll see y'all next week. All right. Peace.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعاديات ضبحا فالموريات قدحا فالمغيرات صبحا فأثرن به نقعا فوسطن به جمعا إن الإنسان لربه لكنود وإنه على ذلك لشهيد وإنه لحب الخير لشديد أفلا يعلم إذا بعثر ما في القبور وحصل ما في الصدور إن ربهم بهم يومئذ لخبير